And the public has the capacity to differentiate the rhythms and the meaning of these drums. So in case any drums played, always the public act accordingly. Yes, or respond accordingly. Okay, so again, you're welcome to Kasubire Tombs. My name is Sekamwa Joel Baligayankona. So where we are standing now, we are standing at the Royal Drum House, which is locally known as Ndoga or Bukaba. So this is where the Royal drums are kept. You know, here in our culture as Buganda, we majorly use drums as a means of communication, despite the fact that because of technology, now people they have got phones, radios, televisions, and the other instruments. But here locally, we use drums. And these drums are categorized into three, whereby each and every drum has got its significance. We have the mujaguzo, which is always played during happy times. For example, when they're celebrating the birth of a new born or like a prince or a princess, when we are celebrating maybe something good in the kingdom. Then we have the second category, which is known as Bantade, and this one they always played during the arrival and the departure of the members of the royal family in the palace. And lastly, we have the category known as Kanaba, which is always played to pass on bad news to the public. For example, we had the tragedy here in 2010 when the original house caught fire. It's the same kind of the drum which is played to pass on that communication to the public so that the public can turn up for the help. So these drums, the chief drummer who's in charge of them is called the Kaula from Pangolin clan. Pangolin is locally known as Rugave. And the Kaula is mandated to live a celibate life. He doesn't marry, he doesn't engage himself in any sexual intercourse. And ladies cannot enter here. So.
Did you say he's not allowed to marry? Is that attached to the kind of job that he does?
Yeah, yes. You know, the owner of this palace, Kabaka Mutesa I, happened to marry over 84 official wives. He never did it for fun, but he made sure he promotes unity among all the clans. So in the way as the king was trying to protect his wives from not being disturbed by other men, all of his workers who were gentlemen were supposed to leave the palace when it clocks to 5 p.m. Then for the Kaula, because he was in charge of doing the drumming, of course he was probably living here beyond that time because he was in charge of doing the communication. You know, communication is something which is an emergency issue. So due to that fact, the king mandated him to live a celibate life, because at the end of that day, the king never wanted him and the other men who were his workers to play around his wives. That's how he ended up being a celibate. Yes. Okay, so these drums, they are categorized into three, whereby we have the other big drums, which are like mujaguzo, and these ones they are played during celebrations. For instance, when they are crowning a king, or in the case there is a birth of a prince or a princess, they always play mujaguzo for celebrations, and also during other happy events. Then we have got these kind of the drums, like these ones, they are known as bantade, and these ones are always played during the arrival and the departure of the members of the royal family in the palace. For example, when the current king is coming here, they always welcome him with this bantade, because when he comes here at Kasubire Tombs, he's welcomed as a prince, but not a king, because the other four people who abide in the main tomb house, they are considered to be more superior more than him. Because inside here, we have the tombs for his father, the tombs for his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. So when he's here, he's welcomed as a prince, but not a king. When he goes back, he's a king again for our kingdom. So these are the drums, the bantade, that we use to to welcome our king and the other members of the royal family. Then the last category is called Kanaba. And for Kanaba, for it is always played during bad times, during hard times. For example, we had a tragedy here in 2010, that was around 16th March, when the original house caught fire in 2 frames. So it's that particular kind of the drum, Kanaba, which is always played to pass on that communication to the public, so that the public can turn up for the help. And also Kanaba can as well be played when they're announcing the death of the member of the royal family. For example, when any maybe prince or princess passes on, they can break a number to pass on the communication. And the public has the capacity to differentiate the rhythms and the meaning of these drums. So in case any drums played, always the public act accordingly. Yes, or respond accordingly.